Good evening and good early afternoon and good end of morning, let's say. My name is Aurélien Lorange from the Corax Foundation, organizer of the Hague Inter-University Law Debate Tournament. And this is the second day, the day 2 of the group phase. We have two teams representing two universities who are in this group, the group C of the group phase. This is Desh Bhagat University in India and the University of Chile in Chile. The two teams prepared a topic which is around the space law, and this time, today, after 7 days of preparation, they will be debating on a topic that we will disclose a bit more publicly in a few minutes. But first, I would like to give the floor to the participants for them to introduce themselves. So we start with Miss Martina Bilbao Lopez. Welcome. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Introduce yourself, yeah.
My name is Martina. I'm from Chile, and I'm in the first year of law in my university.
Thank you. Welcome. In India, we have Miss Mancha. Welcome.
First of all, good evening to everyone here represented. I'm actually outside. I will be there in 5 minutes, so there is some problem with my camera. So I am a currently enrolled in BA LLB from Desh Bhagat University, representing India here. And yeah, I am excited to represent my university here. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you. We'll give you time to arrive, of course. We have as well Mr. Araya in Chile. Welcome. Mr. Thomas Araya.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Thomas Araya, and this is my second year in the law school.
Thank you very much. And we have as well Miss Sonali Gupta. Welcome.
Namaste. As of Indian Standard Time, I wish you all a very good evening. I am Sonali, aspiring fourth-year law student representing Desh Bhagat University, India, in this prestigious debate competition. It is an absolute honor to be here, engaging with some of the brightest minds from around the world. Coming from a country known for its diversity, deep-rooted traditions, and dynamic youth, I bring with me just my arguments, but also the spirit of open-minded discussions and respectful decisions. Wishing all of my fellow debaters the best, and let's make this competition to remember. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Mr. Diego Pérez Esparza. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Diego, and with my team today, we're representing Chile. And I hope we had a good debate, very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. So the two teams, they received the topic 7 days ago, and this topic is the extraction and utilization of space resource must be governed by an international licensing regime to ensure sustainability and compliance with the Outer Space Treaty. So now we share my screen, because the students they will know in a few seconds which position they will defend in favor or against this motion. So normally you should see in your screen my screen. So it means there are the logos and a double flag of your countries and institution. There are two chances, one chance to be in favor of the motion and one chance to be against the motion for each institution. So now we'll start the allocation of position. The team will be in favor, will be starting the match. So this is University of Chile will be against the motion. As a consequence, it means Desh Bhagat University will be in favor of the motion. and will be starting the match. So it means concretely, Desh Bhagat University will defend the position that the extraction and utilization of space resource must be governed by an international licensing regime to ensure sustainability and compliance with the Outer Space Treaty, while the University of Chile will defend the position that the extraction and utilization of space resource must not be governed by an international licensing regime to ensure sustainability and compliance with the Outer Space Treaty. So now both teams will have 5 minutes to review their notes, and then we'll hear the introduction by Desh Bhagat University team. You can close mic and camera. Here we are done with the 5 minutes of preparation, so I stop sharing my screen. So just as a reminder, before we start with the introductions, when you see the yellow card, it means you still have 30 seconds, you can continue to speak, of course. When you will see the red card, it means your time is over, your speaking time is over. You may finish your sentence, but please do not start a new sentence, otherwise the judge might penalize. Voilà, so it means we'll be able to start officially the match. So I would like to give the floor to the team from Desh Bhagat University for your introduction. You have 4 minutes.
So I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Here's a simple introduction. The extraction and utilization of space resources such as minerals and water is becoming increasingly important as space exploration and development advance. However, this raises concern about sustainability, environmental impact, and compliance with international law. To address these concerns, there is a growing need for an international licensing regime to govern space resources activities. This regime would establish standards, issue licenses, monitor compliance, and resolve disputes related to space resource extraction and utilization. Here are some detailed arguments. Argument 1. Sustainability. A licensing regime would promote sustainable use of space resources, ensuring their availability for future generations. Outer Space Treaty (OST) of 1967 emphasizes the importance of exploring and using outer space to peaceful purposes and the need to protect the environment and natural resources of outer space. The Committee of the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space has established a working group to develop guidelines for the sustainable use of space resources. A licensing regime would ensure that resource utilization is carried out in a responsible and sustainable manner, minimizing the risk of environmental damage and depletion of resources. Argument 2. Environmental protection. A licensing regime would help prevent environmental damage and pollution in space. The OST emphasizes the need to protect the environmental and natural resources of outer space, and the United Nations has established a set of guidelines for the long-term sustainability of outer space activities. The European Space Agency has established a program to monitor and mitigate the effects of space debris, and the United Nations has launched an initiative to promote sustainable space explorations. A licensing regime would ensure that space resources utilization is carried out in an environmentally responsible manner, minimizing the risk of pollution and environmental damage. Argument 3. International cooperation and a licensing regime would foster international cooperation and coordination in space resource utilization. The OSCE emphasizes the importance of international cooperation in the exploration and use of outer space, and the United Nations has established a set of principles for international cooperation in space exploration. The International Space Exploration Coordination Group has established a framework for international cooperation in space exploration, and the UN has launched an initiative to promote international cooperation in space resource utilization. A licensing regime would provide a framework for international cooperation and coordination in space resource utilization, promoting the sharing of knowledge, expertise, and resources. Argument 4. Economic benefits. A licensing regime would promote a framework for the economic development of space resourcing and promoting investment and job creations. The space industry is expected to grow significantly in the coming years, with estimates suggesting that the global space economy could reach $1 trillion by 2040. The United Nations has established a program to promote the development of space resources, and several private companies have investing heavily in space resource utilization. A licensing regime would provide a framework for the economic development of space resources, promoting investment and job creation and contributing in the growth of the global space economy. So at last, I would like to explore more about this by my co-teammate. She'll help you to understand more about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now here's the introduction on the side of the team from the University of Chile. You have 4 minutes.
Good afternoon, reviewing counterpart. We are representing Chile in this tournament, and as a team, we are against the motion. The extraction and use of space resources should be governed by international licenses regime to ensure sustainability and compliance with the Outer Space Treaty. First of all, for the purpose of this debate, it's necessary to clearly understand a number of concepts and what their impact is. What is the Outer Space Treaty? The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 is an agreement that established the principles governing the use and exploration of outer space. This treaty is the basis of international space law, and in that sense seeks to establish a framework for countries to work together in the exploration and use of space. This should the case in principle. But what happens in practice? And it's really enforced? As team, we assert that not only being complied with, but is an acceptable measure for the international community. Most space activity to date have been carried out by a small group of countries with advanced space programs, such as the USA, China, Russia, India, Pakistan, and the European Union. Since the end of World War II, through the Cold War, the major powers have done their best to maintain their hegemony and while undoubtedly continue to do so. Let us not forget that this stabilization generated by the USA during the 70s, with the overthrow of popular governments and the financing of dictatorships. The same with the USSR and the missile crisis. In this sense, international licenses for the exploitation of space resources only perpetuate the hegemony of the strongest, generating greater inequality. What these licenses do is to allow the powers to continue with the struggle for powers, serving their particular interest under the protection of the international norm that justified it. Thus, for the time being, USA will go to Mars so that the Martians receive a dose of democracy and freedom. With the above in consideration, I will enunciate the arguments that will be developed by the following speakers. First, licenses generate a concentration of power and how exploitation is monopolized. Second, the measures are difficult to control in practice. There are no mechanisms capable of carrying out such purpose in satisfactory manner. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and may it be a great debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the first rebuttal on the side of Desh Bhagat University. You have 2 minutes.
First of all, good evening once again. Good evening to represented here and the jury persons. So first, the opposition has already said few points which I like to state that my first argument states that they have said that even national countries should prevail or not international law. That can't be happen because even there are legislature and there are some laws which can be prevailed, but they are in the view of international law. International law is something which prevails on every country, which is a universal law which applicable on every country. So if we talk about India, India has its own Environment Protection Act, which talks about the greenery, as you can see, greenery in sense of trees, forests, and any other minerals, air. In Environment Protection Act, there are some other air protection, air, water, this and that. So, except that these are also being taken from the international law. So, international law is something which which should be prevail over national law. So, my first argument, in a rebuttal, my first argument states that uh, uh, my first argument states that in the Apollo 13 accident in 1970, the accident highlighted the need for international cooperation in spaces exploration and the importance of having clear rules and regulations in space. And second point states that flexibility in regulation. An international licensing regime can be designed to be a flexible and adapt to the changing need of space industry. Streamlined processes. A centralized licensing authority can be streamlined processing, reducing bureaucratic hurdles and make easier for the companies to access space resources, encouraging innovation. A licensing regime can actually encourage innovation by providing a clear framework for companies to operate.
Thank you. You can finish your sentence when you see the red card. Huh? You don't need to stop immediately. If you were saying something, you can finish your sentence. So now I give the floor to the University of Chile as well for the first rebuttal. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to say that about the sustainability argument that our counterpart has said, for us, for this part, it's very clear that one of the main problems of this policy of licenses is the difficulty of enforcement. It's because it's even possible to enforce or like fiscally say something that is happening in the other space. It is necessary to ensure compliance and monitoring of tradable permits, granting licenses, and at the same time supervising that all that this entails is fulfilled is a complex task already on our own planet. So it is impossible to carry such a feat in outer space. This because in first instance, there is no mechanism to control that in the space regulations imposed on Earth are met in the space. The amount of available resources of certain celestial bodies to be exploited, or the regulation of space debris and commercial activities. The supervision of missions on the moon or asteroids will be logistically complex and costly. Although satellites can monitor activity in space, commercial activities occur in areas where supervision is difficult without dedicated fiscalization. And about the other argument of the economic, because of the space resources, we'll have to say that if this system of licenses is met or it's introduced in the international community, there will be obviously, like in all economic places, schemes, that there will be a concentration of international licenses. One of the main problems of establishing a system of international licenses for the exploitation of space is the risk of concentrating access to those licenses in the hands of a few space powers. Because there are only a few space powers like the USA, China, or Russia, and the less developed countries will be don't have the resources to meet the requirements to use the licenses. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor for the second rebuttal to Desh Bhagat University. You have 2 minutes.
I'll start with the rebuttal in 3, 2, 1. So, as of the first question, they asked that the Outer Space Treaty is of 1967. Sorry for the disturbance from of the time, but please, sorry for the disturbance. It's coming. I just continue. So, they were asking for Outer Space Treaty 1967. There are new laws also, which shows that how international agreements are working. So, here it's Artemis Accords established in 2020, the Artemis Accords are a set of non-binding principles guiding space exploration and utilization. Section 10, Clause 2 emphasizes that the extraction of space resources does not inherently constitute national appropriation. Under Article 2 of the Outer Space Treaty provides such activities comply with international obligations. Here are some case laws. There's a case concerning the Gabsikovo Nagmoros project, Hungary versus Slovakia, 1997. The ICJ, International Court of Justice, emphasized the importance of international cooperation and the need for states to reconcile their interests in the use of shared resources, which is relevant to the governance of space resources. International Arbitral Awards. The Island of Palama's case, the Arbitral Tribunal recognized the principles of effective occupation in relation to the acquisition of territory, which has implications for the governance of space resources. The North Sea continental shelf cases. The International Court of Justice recognized the principle of equitable sharing in relation to the definition of continental shelves, which has implications for the governance of space resources. National Court of Justice, the United States versus California in 1947, the US Supreme Court recognized the federal government's authority to regulate the use of the continental shelves. So, these case laws demonstrate the importance of international cooperation, the need for clear rules and regulations, and the recognition of the principles of common heritage of mankind in relation to the governance of space resources. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the second rebuttal on the side of the University of Chile. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Aurelian. Ladies and gentlemen, the great point of our counterpart can be grouped, especially in unequitable sustainable development. Such development is not achievable in this international licensing model. We have been clear in pointing out how this model gives free rein to the great powers to take advantage of the exploitation of these resources. Establishing the limits that must be respected by countries is a very difficult task, and the counterpart has not been able to explain to us how this will be put into practice. The great powers fight for hegemony and their own interests, and this treaty only provides the space for them to do so without reproach from the international community that sees itself violated, as we mentioned before. The United States will go to Mars so that the Martians receive a dose of democracy and freedom. In conclusion, these licenses only allow the overexploitation of natural resources of land and space, in addition of perpetuating inequality. Plus, they are just permits to pollute in space. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we reach the conclusions. We start first with a conclusion by Desh Bhagat University. You have 2 minutes.
So I will start in 3, 2, and 1. So first of all, in my conclusion, I would like to state that 2 questions which have been raised, that about the sustainability and of course and the utilization and resources which have been an impact on the international, as the cases have been said my partner, which she has said that there are many fundamental rules and laws which have been stated, but according to my opponents, what they have said, so there is no question about sustainability. The major concern is that if there is no international law prevailing upon the space, the Indian law, or you can say the company law, we cannot be prevailed under this law. In my conclusion, the arguments against an international licensing regime for spacing resources utilization can be addressed through careful design and implementation. A well-crafted licensing regime can be promote sustainability and equitable access to space resources while also encouraging innovation and reducing cost. As also the opponent claims that space has unlimited resources, so there is no need for sustainability regulations. While space is vast resources on specific celestial bodies such as water on the moon and rare minerals on minerals on asteroids are not infinite. Uncontrolled extractions could lead to resources depletion and limit future exploration opportunities. Sustainability ensure long-term benefits rather than short-term exploitation. My second argument in the conclusion states that regulating space mining will slow down progress. Opponent have been clearly defined their part of argument, but I would like to say that the absence of sustainability rules could cause resources damage, conflicts, and legal dispute, which would slow progress even more. A structured international framework provide clear rules and preventing chaos and ensuring long-term viability for space industries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the conclusion by the team from the University of Chile. You have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, in this debate was essentially about acceptability or acceptability of existence of an international license of regulation technique for international community according to the Outer Space Treaty. It has as point of conflict the following arguments. 1. License generate of concentration of power and exploration of monopolies. 2. The measures are difficult on control in practice. There are no mechanisms capable of achieving this object satisfactorily. Especially, the opposite's main point was sustainable development. The argument put forward by the pro side doesn't sufficiently respond to the possible market features that they may be generated by the existence of this international license, especially consider that 1. We are the present of hegemony of state that can successfully develop a space race, and 2. Thus it fails to sustainable measures as it does not allow the maximum enjoyment for humankind as whole, but only for a few. State, which as seen in really itself, depreded the natural resource of less developed countries. In the same sense, it will not be a measure that allows complements with the other space, treated according to the Arctic spheres, second and third. The exploring and use of the other space, including the moon and the other celestial bodies, shall be carried out for a benefit in the interest of all countries, interested of their degree of economy of science development, and shall be the province of making, being not subject to national appropriate by claim of sovereignty and the use according to the international space law. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We just heard the 2 conclusions, so from now you are not under evaluation by the judge. So it means that you can relax a bit and we can rest. In a few seconds I will ask for your opinion about the match and of course on the topic and the preparation for the match itself. And once done, will be a bit of networking after those questions before closing the session. So my first question would go to Miss Martina Bilbao Lopez. What did you think about the match and how was the preparation on this topic?
Yes, well, I think it's difficult, the motion, but I really like it, the team and the preparation with my team.
Thank you very much. Miss Mancha, what do you think about the topic and the match?
This topic is actually a very serious topic, which is very controversial, which considered a very controversial aspect has been debated over and over after the technology have been improved. When actually the space term is actually very wide. If we see as a space just a source of minerals, it wouldn't be sufficient. But if we see as a component which consider every country's oxygen, the oxygen from which we live, and the other components. So yeah, it was very difficult to raise an argument in both in favor and against. Of course, considering the case law, which are very important, it is actually very one thing which I would like to mention. There is no case law in against of this motion.
Okay.
So preparing for that is very difficult. I would like to appreciate my opponents too, how have they like prepared themselves, because in against there is no such content, because everything, this topic is all goes in favor, because uh, and in a country cannot prevail without international law. That is what I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now, same question for Mr. Thomas Araya.
Hi everyone. I think that is a great debate, and congratulations for the counterpart for India. I think that is really difficult because there is uh, a little legislation. So mm, this for me is um, very difficult to try to explain uh, all the um, contenido, todo el contenido, all the content, yeah, about the motion.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Miss Sonali, what do you think about the match?
As of the last match, we had to matlab, we have to take all the points in mind that yes, these per point where all these points where we got deducted, and for that we have to prepare very carefully, even if it was the easiest. I'm saying easiest because some points, the mainly the laws were in favor, so we can say it was easy, but we have to just think about the last match, how we scored in that. So kind of we're a bit nervous about this match, that how the marking's gonna be now in this match. So we're very careful about the same thing. So
Before
nice,
match, we
nice.
actually we were talking on a phone call that this topic is very complicated. While we were discussing, we were like, if we got an against part, what we will say? Because this topic in itself is a positive topic, right? So we was discussing what to do, how to do, and what were the points we were deducting. We were like, yeah, but we did very well, and the opponents also did very well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Peret Esparza, what do you think about the match?
Hello, everyone. I think it was an interesting topic on DIM. I think it's very complex too because of the absence of core law or principles or articles that are very like well researched about this topic. Yeah, maybe it's like the our counterpart says that it was a little bit easier in the favor because yeah, there are treaties and principles, but even though that's all there's not any more like information that like for treaties, and there are no obligations like hard obligations in any of those treaties. So yeah, but I think that's an interesting thing because it's not everything like so established. Like it was a topic like in there, so it was like up to us to develop that topic on our own. So I think that was interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, it can happen that you might have topics which ask you to make a legal fiction. A legal fiction is when you need to use what you know from other areas of law and try to see if you can transpose into that field of law. Because, yeah, the last topic was on environmental law. The next one will be on trade law. The third match, the theme for the third match will be on trade law. But yes, I mean, space law, it's maybe a continuous aspect of environment, because the space is just over the limit of what we know. So, and as well, there are corporations, there are states, and as you can imagine, one day that will be companies will be extracting as well minerals like on Earth. So what I mean is that, yes, you can try to see how it is in energy law, in mineral law, existing nowadays, let's say, on the planet. And knowing that on the moon or on other, I would say, areas, it will be the same. For the moment, it's just because we do not exploit economically what's happening in the outer space, that we do not have to develop an area of law specially for that. But the day when, indeed, there will be the presence of humans and companies, not just states, that will be a different story, because simply we need to have a special legislations about it, based on international laws that we have for the moment, but still it has to be developed, and of course to see what can be developed, to make sure that, yeah, there are not the same mistakes done, let's say, which have been done on Earth, on the planet, as well done again on outer space in terms of preserving the resource. Yeah. Voilà. So many thanks for this topic, which was indeed a changing topic. I can tell you that for all the other teams, this day 2 match is difficult because I think none of you have studied space law at law school, and of course it's the first time, but maybe not the last time. So maybe you will be getting a bit more of space law later in your studies or career. But it's still where actually you can litigate nowadays, and you can still argue on what's happening in the development of this field. There is even a moot court that I know which is taking place here in the Netherlands, a moot court on space law only. But that is in another university. So now we'll finish the session with a very last question. I will ask only one question because as well it is late in India. So have you watched some other debate match, and what did you, I would say, remember of I would say what is done by the other teams? And as well, a second question, a very small question, if you would like to thank someone or some persons who are helping you, supporting you, encouraging you during this competition, who would that be? So we'll start with Desh, Bhagat University. Who want to start?
So first of all, as a part for second question, I would like to say that my co-teammate and me are motivating each other. For that, we have to do very well. At some point, I am her senior actually, but at some point I am lagging. At some point she is lacking. I used to tell her like what to do, and she did very well. Did amazing part more than did more good than me. But obviously, as for first thing, I would like to say that the previous match about our match, when I see that we weren't aware of what to do, but as when I observed the other team, it was really good.
Miss Gupta, you want to add something? Yeah.
Course, she helped me. She helped me again, and I also she's saying that I also helped her. But the most helpful thing or the most the learned thing was the last match result. Actually, that was the thing. That was the person. That was the entity. That was something which helped us to do something for this match. Literally, that mark sheet just came, and we were like, wow, need to do in these things, need to learn this, need to make list of this, need to do this. So that mark sheet helped us for this match. Literally, that mark sheet was is the we were not uh, we were not
But
just
we weren't
helpful.
demotivated.
Yes, yeah, we were not demotivated by that, but yes, that was the thing that hit us, that oh my god, this has to be done. This should be work done. So that was most helpful thing for us. That mark sheet, that
Yeah.
result.
Actually, it is true that winning it doesn't always matter. The matter is that what you gain and what you learn from that, and what you gain experience and what respect do you gain from that match. So that matters a lot. The winning is nothing actually. It is true that we were actually very happy about our scores. In that match, we did very well, and the scores we have with our opponents is very less. There was like just 10 or 20 points difference between us, and we were very happy. like, oh my God, we did something and we should have improved it more. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Same question for the team in the University of Chile. So, did you watch some other match? Did you get as well support around from professors, family, friends? Who would you like to thank as well?
That's the shorter question, yeah? Can you repeat me the first question,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, the first question is, did you watch any other match? Did you take some, I would say, advice as well from professors, other students? Mr. Rubilar Hernandez, he participated last year.
Okay, I understand now. I think we had that kind of experience in the other topic, the first one, because like I said before, in space law, it's like there are not so many things that are new. I mean, in our law university, there aren't like space law teachers. There isn't even a topic about that. So we were like in white and black, like all the time, like researching on all about that, like on our own, like for the first time. So that was very complex, but that made things very interesting because the space law thing, it's a very contemporary topic because of all that is happening, the USA versus Russia and China empires, the like the new space race that is going on, Elon Musk and SpaceX, that are things that are very like contemporary and como en auge, como yeah, como they are very modern topics. And about the second question, I think that for me at least, I would like to thank the Sociedad de Litigación, that it's the general group that we have. We are from that group, and I would like to thank them because if it wasn't for that organization, we wouldn't be here talking to you. So I would like to thank them, and of course all of my companions and the coaches, because it wasn't easy like just to arrive. We couldn't like just arrive to the match without preparation. So I thank them all about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Aria, do you want to add something? Do you want to thank someone?
Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Esta se escucha, ¿no? Sí, sí, yeah, perfect. I think that it's a complex task for nations and the international law to address, but it's necessary. The powers of the big nations and the technology are advancing in giant steps and big steps, maybe, and legislation cannot be left behind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, that was the match, the second match. So it means in few days you will receive the topic for the third match. As I mentioned, the general theme for this day 3 match will be on international trade law. So it means that you will have a topic connected to this, and this time I guess you will find in your university, in the books as well, a bit more of trade law cases, obviously. So you will receive the result of this match in few days from now, the day 2 match, and obviously this will count for the counting of the points in your group. You are in the group C, where there is as well a team from Greece, from Athens, that has been already met by Desh Bhagat University. And there is a team as well in Estonia that has been met in the first time, in the first match by the team from Chile. So that will be the two next opponents, of course, in the day 3. So many thanks for this session. It was a pleasure to have both teams debating on a very difficult topic, but still, I guess you learn a lot of things as well through this topic and through space law, and we hope that it gives you a taste. Maybe you'll be the first person who will go to Mars. We never know, with SpaceX, I don't know. But we hope for you it is actually an inspiring area of law for the next years. So thank you again, and we keep in touch, and obviously don't hesitate to keep contact between the two teams. You never know if you will be in India or in Chile, or you will meet in the middle in Europe, for example, in The Hague. So we wish you, of course, that you will keep contact on LinkedIn, and the Coax Foundation will facilitate if you need. Thank you again, and we keep in touch. Muchas gracias. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Aurelian.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye
Good
bye.
evening.
Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Buenas noches.